Hello, everyone. As promised, we were back with Sector 2. Little man and I are hopefully going to get through this before he gets a little too cranky. So we're going to go through the feats for this Conquest series, and everything should hopefully work out and help you get all the points you need closer to the crate yet you are aiming for. Okay, so before we hop in, though, I do want to give a special thank you to all of my patrons. I truly do appreciate your support, and I could not be more grateful for you. So thank you so much. And now let's have a look at these feats. So, like I said, we're in Sector 2. It's pretty straightforward for Sector 2, to be honest. We do want to defeat 60 enemies with Rebel Fighter units. Win 14 battles with no attackers in your squad. Attempt to inflict Purge 300 times, which I'm sure everyone is sick of by now. And gain Foresight 60 times. So like I said, really straightforward. I've got a few videos lined up for you, and we can hop in right now. All right, guys. So the first one that I want to show you is Foresight, and it also double dips for no attackers. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to do a Jedi Master Luke team. He is going to be getting used quite a lot in this Conquest series, but he does work really well here for this. So you want Jedi Master Luke, like I said, no attackers, so support and healers with him. And Grandmaster Yoda is going to be working with us for Foresight, as well as Hermit Yoda. So, like I said, pretty straightforward. You're just going to go in with Luke here. And it's your typical Jedi Master Luke fight. So Grandmaster Yoda, whenever you can, you want to use his Foresight there on his third special, I guess it is. And then with Hermit Yoda, you want to use his second special because that also gives Foresight to everyone. And pretty much that's all we're trying to get done with this. And then also win because everyone is either tank, support, or healer. You can get credit for the no attacker feat as well. It's pretty straightforward. You can do this really easily making your way through the sector. And you can see we've gone up to 20 out of 60 Foresight now. So we've got 18 in one fight, which is pretty good considering we just started the sector. Okay, so let's have a look now at Rebel Fighter kills. This one, obviously, you could do with Jedi Master Luke, which I'll show you in a little bit, or you can do with your stereotypical Mon Mothma squad. Mine probably isn't too stereotypical because I don't have them fully geared, but you're essentially going to take your Mon Mothma lead, and she doesn't attack, so it doesn't matter that she's a rebel, and then rebel fighters. Because we're taking Cal Cere, you're not double dipping for the no attacker feat. You could do that if you have better rebel fighters than I do, and that would work for you as well, but you're essentially just going to go in and try to get as many kills as possible. Obviously, I do have Volatile Accelerator still equipped and Amplify Agony. That's doing a lot of the work for me. But obviously, the idea is to get as many kills with your Rebel Fighters as possible. So I do misplay this. I should have revived here. I thought I would have another turn with Mon Mothma to get that revive in, and I obviously didn't. And that would have 3-starred the node. So just something to keep in mind when you are doing your own battles for yourself. Now I have to go back and clean this up. Yes, that's right, buddy. Okay, so like I said, pretty straightforward in terms of Rebel Fighter kills there. So you can also work on Rebel Fighter kills with Jedi Master Luke if you don't have a Mon Mothma squad. It does also double dip for Foresight if you're conscious enough to remember that, unlike myself. But you can go in with your Jedi Master Luke team, and it is a full Jedi squad, which works really nicely since Cal Cere is a rebel fighter and a Jedi. He is an attacker though, so you can't double dip for no attackers here. And then you're just going to take your stereotypical squad with Jedi Master Luke. Both Yodas here will help give you Foresight, like I said, if you are remembering of that fact. As you will see here, I do make a couple of misplays that would have generated some more Foresight for me, but you essentially just want to call Cal Cere every time you can, so that he gets the kills instead of one of your other Jedi. So had I been remembering about Foresight, I would have also done that with the Yodas instead of just calling Kyle, but it's neither here nor there, and Foresight's pretty easy to get done. So as long as Kyle is landing your kills, Volatile Accelerator does pose the risk of stealing the kills from you because of the dots generated, but it's pretty straightforward in terms of getting them done while you're making your way through the sector, possibly a little bit of cleanup at the end when you when you need to get there. Okay. So let's have a look here at Purge. Obviously, if you have an Inquisitor squad, Grand Inquisitor with Riva, you're going to want to use that. So this is if you don't have it. You only want Volatile Accelerator equipped, and you're going to go against a Padme node. You're essentially going to feed yourself turn meter. This works really well if you have weak Inquisitors. If you have weak Inquisitors, you will time out 9 times out of 10. But you're essentially going with Palpatine lead for the turn meter train, a pre-taunt like crew in case the enemy squad gets a turn, and then you're going to take 3 Inquisitors. I like 5th brother, 7th sister, and 9th sister. You just want to take Inquisitors that will generate Purge and also cleanse Purge, because you are 9 times out of 10 stuck behind Kenobi taunting here. Because you're generating so much turn meter with Palpatine's lead, the enemy squad almost never takes a turn. So I am going to remove the buffs on Ahsoka with 7th sister because that generates Purge, and then we're just going to go in on General Kenobi here. With the debuffs that are coming up now with Purge and all the debuffs from Inquisitors, plus the Volatile Accelerator disc adding dots, your turn meter train just starts to go because of Palpatine lead. And because of that, you can see Padme squad is essentially just sitting still. Whenever I can get out from that GK taunt and get around it, I'm going to try and put Purge on some of the other characters here. The great thing, because you can see here what's happening, is the modifier on a Padme squad here does damage to you, but it doesn't actually defeat you. So that's why you can see my 5th brother and 7th sister are just hanging out in the red, and they're not actually dying. And that's basically going to be the entire time you're going against this. So like I said, you want to remove Purge when you can. You want to just keep stacking it up. This works really, really well if you have weak Inquisitors, because what you'll notice here, what's going to happen is eventually my Inquisitors are actually going to whittle down the Padme squad, and I will end up winning, which is fine for me. But if you have weaker Inquisitors, that doesn't happen. You usually time out. So before we started this, I was at 60 Purge. That's just from running Riva lead. And like I said, if you have Riva or Grand Inquisitor, I would probably just use that squad while you're making your way through the sector. But if you don't and you need to cheese some Purge this way, I think this works really well. You can see we've been going for about 3 minutes. And we will have ended with almost 60 Purge in one fight. I was at 60 and we're now at 117. So 57, give or take. And that worked decently. Okay, so let's look at the mini boss. The mini boss, we need to do 2 feats: winning without unaligned force users as usual, and winning with Tarfful surviving. The great news here is you can actually double dip this feat. You can do it in one go because Tarfful is not a Jedi, Sith, or unaligned force user. You can just stick him on your Bam Han Chewie squad if you've got that. So we do have the Volatile Accelerator disc equipped with the Amplify Agony discs as usual. And I do want to get Bam out of the way as soon as possible because his whistling birds are pretty annoying. And I also want to try to stun Nest if I can, because her AoE is also pretty annoying for Tarfful. So just things to keep in mind. Obviously, this does have Nest on the squad, like I just mentioned. So once you get down to just her, it is a little bit annoying and it does eat up quite a bit of time. I wouldn't put it on auto and I probably wouldn't button mash. You just kind of want to do moves that will eventually let her take a turn so that you can kill her. She can get rid of this bonus protection that she's got going on. Because of Volatile Accelerator and Bam's lead, you're generating a lot of turn meter to yourself with the debuffs. So it does take a while for her to take a turn, but she will do it. Again, you just want to try to not remove turn meter from her. Stun her when you can, and then just try to let your team do moves that will let her feed turn meter to get out of that stun lock that she's in here. And then eventually you will be able to kill her. So you can see we're doing a decent amount of damage. She's not taking turns because she's stunned, and Tarfful just gets to hang out and come along for the ride and survive, and you'll get the feat. Slowly here. Very, very slowly. You can see it's been a fair amount of time. But it does work, like I said, as long as you're not removing her turn meter. So just be conscious about the moves that you are doing here, and you'll get it done. All right, and that will get you both feats in one, like I mentioned. And then that way you can just carry on, and we can go have a look at the boss, which is super interesting. All right, so the boss here, same idea. You need to win with Saw surviving and with a full team of dark side units. There are no modifiers on this because it is essentially a mini pit raid. Yeah, it is. It's a mini pit raid, and you're fighting the Rancor. So it's pretty interesting. I decided to go with a full Sith Empire squad. I figured because we need to win battles with Malgus surviving, I might as well just, yes, we might as well just try and see if we can get this done with him surviving. Spoiler alert, the Rancor does eat someone on his first turn, which is unfortunate because my only character taunting at the time is Malgus. So Malgus is going to get eaten. If you can make it so that somebody else is taunting as well, I would definitely do that. And hopefully RNG will be in your favor and he'll eat the other tank. This also does make it really obscenely hard to 3-star this fight. I know a few people have been able to do it with a CLS squad. I haven't been able to replicate it myself. So just something to keep in mind, because you essentially don't want the Rancor to take a turn so that he can, defeat the Rancor without him taking a turn, without him eating anybody, and you can win with all of your team members up and 3-star the battle that way. Could also try, I would be interested in trying a Jedi squad with a revive like Jolie, just to see if that would bring your character back from being eaten. And if that does, then you would 3-star it as well. Like I said, it's just a little bit annoying since he does eat someone. It's really well done, though, for a boss, considering it's just basically a mini raid. And you essentially take a full dark side team in, and then you're going to take a team in with Saw. All right, so we're going to go in with Saw. I have the typical Volatile Accelerator Amplify Agony disc set up. I do have Voluntary Vanguard still equipped because I haven't taken it off yet. It does not work on this fight. So if you think you can get around the Rancor eating Saw because you've got Voluntary Vanguard equipped, it will not work. You'll see it here when we go in that it does not... proc like a force taunt on anybody, so just something to keep in mind. But otherwise you're pretty much good to go. He is still going to eat somebody, sadly, but it's pretty straightforward in terms of getting Saw to survive. So same idea here. Obviously the Rancor is going to come through the door next, and we know he's going to eat someone as soon as he takes a turn. You can remove turn meter from him, which is why I think it is going to be possible to 3-star this node with the right characters and discs, etc. He just really enjoys taking a turn and eating somebody. So as long as he doesn't eat Saw, you're good. And it seems like he didn't want to. So Saw's going to live, and we just need to get through the Rancor. I found that Bam's Whistling Birds, though, did do the most damage, so which is why I wanted to get into that stance with him and get that off quickly. All right, so that is Sector 2. Like I said, I think it's pretty straightforward, and we will be back tomorrow for Sector 3. Thanks for watching, guys.